Today, the squad came back to the Druid's Grove to see if they could find out any more information on the Goblin camp before they prepare for the raid.
Do my eyes deceive me? A drow! Here! Forgive my surprise. It's rare to find your kind above ground. Rare and intriguing on a day already packed with intrigue. You were at the gates just now, no? When the goblins came? You saw them up close? A few questions, if you please. There's no overstating my interest.
Fine, ask your questions.
Glory. Now then, how would you describe that particular batch of goblins? Size, nature, distinguishing qualities?
You search your mind, successfully recalling various details of goblin behavior.
Common variety of goblins, led by a lasher and flanked by booyags.
My, a scholar after my own heart. Spent much time among goblins?
Time was spent among books. I'm a student of the page.
Uh-huh. I've always preferred experience to the second-hand accounts of lesser men. But to each their own. Now, I've a few more questions, if you don't mind. And the dragon they had marching in the rear, was it of the brass or silver variety?
Dragon? There wasn't any dragon.
Witnesses failed to notice the obvious dragon. Last question, then you'll be quite free. Did the attackers rally to the absolute when they fell upon the gates?
Yes. They called out a name like a war cry.
They did, didn't they? Oh, curious. Oh, curious indeed. I've interrogated one, a captive in this very camp. She reports they've abandoned their god Maglubbiet in favor of someone called the Absolute. The scandal!
Goblin superstition, not worth the ink and parchment.
Ah, but is superstition all? These goblins are informed by a kind of strategy anathema to their kind. I, for one, intend to get to the bottom of it. I'm just preparing to head to their camp as we speak, in fact. If you'll excuse me, I ought not to dawdle.
Be careful. Goblins aren't known for mercy.
Oh, never you mind. Who needs mercy when you've a quick tongue, hmm? And an invisibility potion stashed in your back pocket? Until we meet again. I smell drama amongst these adventurers. What have you heard?
You nearly died. Did you hear me?
Ugh. I'm never gonna hear the end of this. If I'd got that stupid idol, I'd be a hero.
You were caught and you could have been killed.
At least I tried. No one else was doing anything. They were talking when the druids were getting ready to throw us out. Why can't we just stay in until it's safe?
Speak. What were you saying to that bird?
The bird knows. She needs to know. You do not.
Suspicious. Do the other druids know? Because I could tell them.
No, please. A moment. We may talk, but I do not trust my brethren. More follow Korga every day. We're afraid, and she offers a simple solution. Eject the refugees, and we will be safe.
Yeah,
Perhaps
she's wrong.
not. But that does not make it right. Only Master Halsin can stop this. I pray my bird returns with news of him. If not, I fear for my people.
I hear a ritual can protect the grove. Are you helping prepare it?
I would prefer not to. But if Master Halsin does not return, Korga will give the order. And my voice will not matter.
I thought you were Halsin.
The boar prances around, haunches clenching and unclenching impatiently.
Where's Halsin? Promise me a mate.
Shh, I'm concentrating. Does this look good? Is the coin in the middle?
It's slightly off. Push it a bit to the right.
Yes. Yes, you're right. That's it.
He stares right past you, as if you're invisible. Or boring.
Are you alright? I see anything else on your mind?
He's still staring right past you.
Donnie, isn't it? I want to see the dragon's lair.
He nods, then reaches for a concealed hatch.
Hey, thanks for showing me the door.
I saw you at the gates.
Oh, it's just
You fight
another
well.
entrance to Mosi.
A few words for the kids. Spare a story or two.
Be strong and watch over your kin, and trust there is victory.
Thanks. I prefer when they smile.
Stop! This place is off limits. Leave.
Don't worry, I'm here to help.
Damn it! Was inventory today. I'm sorry. Nerves are shot after the attack. Do what you gotta do. Sorry if I don't show you around.
Need a hand up?
I just fall back down. Legs are as steady as a foal's. Bloody potion! My legs! I can stand again! Did you do that? Thank you. Look, you're not really supposed to be here, but I'll turn a blind eye. Just don't touch anything, all right?
The squad went to camp to pick up Lizelle so they could ask Zuru about the Githyanki patrol they found.
By Mordai's eyes, another one. My friend's blood not enough. Come to rip me open too.
In Kresh Kalir, a formal greeting begins with a bow.
Is this monster with you?
Hold it, Lizelle. I'll see to this one.
You dare interrupt? Has the tadpole ravaged your senses?
Enough! Stand down. I won't tell you again.
Kichoki. Fine.
You can breathe again. I won't let her hurt you.
Thanks. What do you want from me?
Information. Where did you see the Githyanki?
On the road to Baldur's Gate, near the mountain pass. Saw us, for we saw it. Jammed its blade through Yul's belly, straight to the other side. And I just ran.
The map. Show me.
Thanks for your help, and apologies for my companion.
No hard feelings.
The last time a subordinate questioned my judgment, I ate tongue stew that very night.
You've made your point.
Then I needn't make it again. The tiefling was clear. If there are Githyanki west of here, that must be our objective. Purification cannot wait.
What do you mean, purification?
The Kresh holds the Zaithisk. It will cleanse us of the parasite. By covenant, I can say no more.
Have to keep going.
Squad decided to make haste towards the mountain pass to find a group of Githyanki.
Time to press ahead.
So, you know about these parasites. Will we survive them?
Only if my people extract them. The only other cure is the blade.
Okay. Wonderful.
Drop your weapons!
I'll feed your innards to the ants before I do that, Istik.
This is your last chance!
No, look up. That was your last chance, Istik. Now burn!
Stop wasting time, Beretta. You're not here to play with the locals.
Of course, Kithrak. We merely sought to...
No excuses. Question, kill, then move on. Find the weapon. Our queen watches us. Fail her at your peril.
A red dragon. I envy its knight. Would that I rode such a steed. A crash must be near. Come, my kin await.
The dragon incinerated those soldiers. Surely this isn't safe.
The dragons serve Githyanki. I'll see it does you no harm. Follow me. We are close to the cure we seek.
Kithrak, we must speak.
Beretta, look what wonders near.
Ryder, my time is short. Lead me to...
Shh. Such a familiar tone. Were I not merciful, I would slice the skin clean from your meat. Yet you are not bleeding. For I am nothing if not merciful. Your name, child.
I will be speaking on her behalf, Gith.
Imbecile! Stay back!
Now, child, your pet means to speak. Tell me, pet, why shouldn't I run you through this instant?
I don't know you. I pose no threat.
Of course you are not a threat. You are nothing until I tell you otherwise. For you to keep sucking air, it is necessary for you to tell me something of worth. A vessel fell from the sky. We seek a precious weapon that was taken from it.
You suddenly feel a strange anxiety take hold. Not your own, but that of the artifact you carry. Somehow, it's afraid. You attune your mind to it. The artifact does not want to part from you. It does not want to fall into the Gith Raiders' hands.
Help us find it, and I will leave your blood beneath your skin unspilled.
I'll help if I can.
Of course. Obedience is your only hope. Now stand still.
He begins to move his hand in a quick flurry of gestures.
Nothing even approaching a useful thought in that skull. I ought to just kill you.
I could help if you let me live. Search for this weapon, perhaps.
Unlikely you'd be successful. But it costs me nothing to spare your sorry life. Very well, Istik. Seek out survivors from the ship that crashed on this wretched world. Bring me their heads. Bring me the weapon. If you succeed, the reward will be great. Now go.
Damn it all! I required your silence, and you made me a mockery! A Kithrak demanded my head! I should have given him yours. Bah! This is a distraction. The Kithrak deserves the whole of my scorn. How dare he speak my queen's name? How dare he dishonor her child?
Wasn't he acting on your queen's command?
Do not be naive. I followed protocol. I've earned Vlaakith's favor. I will remove the parasite. I will see the Kithrak dead. And I will offer his head to Vlaakith herself. The crash is near, this much we know. We follow the path forward and into the valley. No one, not even the ignoble Gestil Kithrak, will keep me from my purification.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Yule, son of Gara.
Then you are Zuru's friend.
Fellow scout. Druid's Grove.
Were you and Zoru scouting alone?
Yes. Zoru fled. Left me to fight.
How did you die?
Monstrous warriors. Keen swords. Black spots.
He crossed blades with a Githyanki. Few survive the ordeal. Fewer still claim victory.
Where can I find the Gith, Crash?
The corpse remains silent. It does not know. The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
Hear my voice. Obey my command.
The voice is irresistible. You recognize the overwhelming authority that you've used on others, only infinitely stronger. Your vision clouds, leaving you in a dark, featureless shadowscape. Nothingness in every direction. Then there are 3 figures before you. An armored male elf exuding power and command. A handsome younger man with a quick, easy smile. And a pale young woman with even paler eyes.
These are my chosen. They speak for me. Aid their search for the weapon, and you will be worthy to stand beside them in my presence.
The visions fade and the voice falters as a strange energy swells around you. The many-sided artifact. Somehow you understand it's repelling the presence.
My power grows. My forces gather. The reckoning draws near.
The voice is quelled. The artifact's doing.
That voice, those visions, what just happened?
No answer presents itself. The artifact is dormant. The voice and visions are gone.
It seems the Githyanki are keen to reclaim the artifact I carry. I can't afford that to happen. In fact, none of us can. That thing is shielding us somehow.
It's been a long
I
day.
don't want
Time
to
to
know
head
what
back to
happens
camp
if we
and catch
lose
up with the entire squad.
Let's not find out. We have enough to contend with already.
Agreed. There's not much we can do but press forward.
What do you think of all that's happened to us so far?
We've been through quite a lot, with likely more to come. Care to narrow it down a little?
What will you do if we actually manage to remove the tentacles?
I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course.
Where would you go?
Home. Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible.
Seems personal. I won't pry if it's not something you want to talk about.
Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
You must have thoughts about our little stowaways.
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. Personally, I think finding this Halcyon is our best bet. Oh, there's Ethel. Not that I'm keen to trust her. I'm not too hopeful that a Gith crash will actually prove our salvation, but worth keeping in mind.
How am I holding up in your estimations?
Does it even need to be asked? We're beyond me merely liking you. I think I'm a different person, owing to you.
I can't help but to feel you and I might have actually missed a chance to connect. Truly connect.
I think I know what you mean. There's an undeniable rapport, and yet we haven't made time for each other. Time alone. Easily remedied, if you like. I know a place.
I'd like that. Just lead the way.
Not just yet. Let's choose our moment. Some quiet night, when the others are asleep and there's no distractions, I'll come for you.
Something strange happened. That artifact you carry? It seemed to just come to me.
I know. I don't understand how exactly, but I felt it go to you. It's important. Keep it close.
There's more to this. How did you get the artifact to begin with?
I suppose, if we're going to keep helping each other, I might as well tell you. I was part of a group sent to retrieve it. Bring it to Baldur's Gate for our goddess. I worship Shah, the mistress of the night. It's my mission to deliver the artifact to her secret cloister in Baldur's Gate. It hurts.
Now that you have the truth, please don't make a big fuss about it.
I don't care who you worship. We have bigger problems.
True. I didn't think you'd react so pragmatically. Perhaps I should have told you sooner.
Now that the truth's out, tell me more.
All right. As I said, Shah is my patron, my mistress. Goddess of darkness and loss. I assume you've heard of her?
Remind me.
My Lady Shah is the Night Singer, the patron of darkness and loss.
Fascinating. Please continue.
Most fear the dark, like children, because in darkness they see their fears reflected. But Shah teaches us to step beyond fear, beyond loss. In darkness, we do not hide. We act. Pain, hope, the promise of better days. All of these are heavy cloaks that bend our backs and burden our hearts. We shed those cloaks. Before Shah, we stand gloriously naked, beyond the vanities of mortals.
Sounds daunting. I don't think it's for me.
Give it time. And thought. We tear down the lies the world is drunk on. The institutions they trust, the so-called gods they worship, the lives they cling to. We destroy false idols, topple corrupt organizations, fight heretics wherever they're found. There's often suffering, death even. Many people break before they embrace Shah's truths.
I won't cast judgment on your beliefs.
Curious. Most are afraid of my lady. I think I did well by joining you. Most agreeable company.
Speak, quickly.
Are you sure a crochet is our only path to cure?
Entirely. I was as devoted to my studies as I was to my training. Each creche contains a Sathisk purification device. So I learned from the writings in the Kalir Library. The library was a gift from Vlaakith herself, that we may gain total understanding.
Books are fallible. Are those who write them?
Not books, but slates. Wisdom so profound it is etched into stone. Truth as perfect as the queen who decreed it. Countless scholars roam the astral sea and beyond, observing the ways of our lessers, exploring planes so distant order turns to chaos and cold fires rage. The planes are ever quaking, and their peoples ever shifting. The Githyanki possess an eternity of knowledge. Yet we still collect more. Infinities upon infinities.
Do you know much about mind flayers?
I understand much beyond your comprehension. More to the point, I know the cure for our condition. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to observe more and question less.
Do you know what happens if we don't find a cure?
Yes, in great detail. It starts with a fever and memory loss. Then you start to hallucinate. Your hair falls out, and you bleed from every orifice. Your bones will change form. Your jaw will split to allow room for 4 great tentacles. All skin will turn to gore, and be shed to reveal new flesh underneath. Then you have ceased to exist, and a mind flayer is born.
That sounds awful. How are you so calm?
Because I do not intend to let this happen. Not to me, and if you stick with me, not to you. We must find my kind and be rid of the parasite. It's as simple as that. The first symptoms should have long since started, though. That is what puzzles me.
We're worried we haven't changed. This is good news.
Yes, if you give it no further thought. But anomalies lead to surprises. Bad surprises. Besides, what hasn't happened may yet come to pass.
That contraption's a hot ticket item. Might not be our last scrap for its sake.
How did you end up with such a contraption in your chest?
The year? 10 air. The place? Sleepy little town called Baldur's Gate. Our hero? Karlach. A knock-kneed delinquent from the outer city, with everything to give and nothing to lose. I was a kid looking for a way to fill my days and make some cash when I fell into the wrong crowd. Worked for a guy I respected. A lot. Turns out the feeling wasn't mutual. Through the jigs and the reels, he made a deal with Zariel behind my back. You know Zariel, right? Archdevil of Avernus. She put this thing in my chest and set me to work. Well, to war. I learned quick how to stay alive. And the engine served me when it came to killing devils. 10 years of that. The stories I could tell.
You mentioned a boss who gave you up to Zario? Who was it?
Guy named Gortash. Politician. Inventor. One of these wheeler-dealer types who seems to have a finger in every pie. I guess I was naive to think everything he got up to was above board. What did I know? I saw a job. A good job. With people I liked. Doing work I was good at. Sometimes I'm jealous of that girl. Ugh, to feel so invincible again.
Sounds like we all need to do to fix your engine is to find some infernal iron.
Let's hope Damon is as good as he seems. Once my engine's handled, I can focus on more important matters. Tadpoles, cults, thrusty pints.
What does the infernal engine do to you?
Gives me energy. Power. But you've seen it in action. Very hard to control. If I'm excited at all, angry, nervous, delighted, enticed, I burn hot. Hot enough to burn anyone who gets close.
What's that been like?
Agonizing. God's what I wouldn't give for a hug. A pat. Anything. You've never met anyone so desperate for a hug as this one right here. Pathetic perhaps, but true. It's my lot to bear, and I bear it badly. Ah well, can't have it all, can you? Not today, at least. Soldier?
In your expert opinion, what's the best way to kill a devil?
Depends on the type. Ice devils hate an inferno, but that's an easy one. Orthons love projectiles. What they don't love is getting their bombs lobbed right back in their faces. Demons, on the other hand, every demon is absolutely singular. You can't ever think you've got them typed out. Sharp instincts, sharp weapons, and a knack for improvisation. That's the only way to survive them. Anyway, what were we talking about?
You and Mizora seem to know each other. How?
We were both part of Zariel's inner circle. Her by choice, me by force. In the grand scheme of things, I'm inconsequential to Zariel. Sure, I've got the engine, but I wasn't even her strongest fighter. But she favored me like a child favors a captive pet. Mizora envied the attention, I suppose. I'm sure when Zariel gave her the order to hunt me down, Mizora was delighted.
Do you think she'll keep coming after you?
I don't know. You'd think she'd have more important things to do. Devils and their pride.
I can see why you were so keen to escape.
No kidding. The fighting, the chaos, the betrayal. It had the makings of a good stage show, but I did not want to be one of the players.
This isn't where I thought I'd end up. How about you?
Funny you should ask. I was just thinking about what would have become of us without that Nautiloid. I mean, I know where I'd be. Trapped in Avernus still, with the Blade of Frontiers on my tail. But what about you?
I'd be in the middle of another adventure, blessedly free of any tadpole.
I can picture you getting mixed up in some outrageous shit. Giants, beholders, Thayans, the works. Maybe once we've wrapped up the current shenanigans, we'll rest a bit and find some new heap of troubles to throw ourselves at.
How can I help?
I was wondering, that condition of yours, why does it require magic?
Think of it as tribute. The kind a king might pay to a more powerful neighbor to avoid invasion. As long as I pay, there will be peace. But should I ever stop, along comes a war. I can assure you, the battlefield would extend well beyond the borders of my body alone. An eruption the size of Waterdeep, I think my exact words were.
I never realized it was so easy to cast magic.
I assure you it's not. Don't get me wrong, you did well. The somatic component, the verbal component, even the focus on the inner self that invites Mystra in. But I was still your conduit. To perform such a feat alone requires much and arduous study. Of course, as a sorcerer, these talents come to you quite naturally. I do hope you cherish that gift.
I was wondering about that mighty lord you told me and about your story.
Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistril, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like. To be a god. To know yourself, to be untouchable. To be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel. And with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistril sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral. The end of Karsus, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly.
So at that moment in time, all magic was gone?
For a spell, Mistral was reborn as Mystra. Upon her return, the weave returned with her. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mystra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
If you ever feel the Netherese magic overtaking you, what will you do?
If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
What do you make of having a vampire in our camp?
I know what it is to hunger. And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
The Gift Knight is as merciless as the dragon he rides. That we still have our heads is nothing short of a miracle.
What do you make of Raphael?
He brings to mind a story. The Devil with the Silver Tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales, don't you think?
With the right teacher, yes. What are your thoughts on the devil, Will?
Refuse him, no matter how tempting the offer. No matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you, the cost will be too great.
Refuse him like you refused Mizora? Only you didn't, did you?
I didn't, and I couldn't. My soul was a necessary price to pay for... You know I can't say more. But I can say this. I had but one road I could travel. For now, you have a dozen, 100, 1,000 to choose from. A road that leads to a devil is the very last one you should follow.
Tell me, Will. How did you come to be the Blade of Frontiers?
My father once said, one does not pursue a champion's life. One merely answers its call. So it was for me. After my exile, I was hunting near the Cloakwood. I heard a child crying out from a lone farmstead. I found him in the fields, flanked by goblins. His mother's corpse bled into the soil next to him. I don't remember much of the battle, but I remember drying the boy's tears after.
And he named you the Blade of Frontiers?
No. But he named me friend, and that meant the world. But what of the others? The children never saved, the cries never heard. In the boy's tears, I finally saw the suffering wrought by the villains of the wild. The Frontiers demanded a blade, and so I heeded.
Is that how you lost your eye in the goblin battle?
It was an even bloodier day, and a stronger foe. It's made from pure bloodstone, carved from the Galena Mountains just north of the Moonsea. A reminder that sometimes blood must be shed and sacrifices must be made. But that story is reserved for lifetime friends and calmer days.
How does it feel to be a devil?
It's said that anyone who bathes in the river of blood emerges as one born anew. It's a lot like that, I imagine. I feel the weight of these horns on my head, curling upwards like a mammoth's tusks. I feel these ridges snaking down my neck, not to mention a few bumps and prongs in unmentionable places. But I haven't seen my reflection just yet. Be my mirror. What do you see?
Quite the handsome devil, if I do say so.
I can't tell if you're being silly or serious, but I'll accept the flattery either way. I suppose I'll grow used to the new me, horns and all. The people will see a curiosity, maybe even a beast hungry for their souls. But I will slay their monsters, keep them safe, and one day they will see the Blade of Frontiers again.
What was it like being the son of the Grand Duke?
Not so enchanting as you'd think. The Portiers, the Caldwells, they were the blue bloods hosting the fancy balls and drinking from gold goblets. Father's the son of a blacksmith, born with barely a coin in the coffers. He made a name for himself among the Flaming Fist. Brave as Baldur and stubborn as a deep Rothay. Daring, outspoken, but hardly posh. I spent more time dueling with Father than I did rubbing elbows with lords. Not to say I didn't develop a taste for good wine and the talent for courtly dance.
Courtly dance? I'd love to see a demonstration.
It's been a badger's age since I've twinkled my toes. A drunk ogre could put on a better show.
Come on, for me?
Tempting. Give it some time. Develop a bond, and maybe I'll show you a move or two.
I think you should get out of this pact.
A possibility that's kept me awake countless nights. But I don't have a clue where to start, other than play her games and play by the rules. That's the only language devils listen to.
Why obey her at all? What could she do that's worse than what she already has?
She could kill me for one, and that's not the worst of it. My contract is very clear. I can bring Mizora no harm. She'll have to let me out of my pact willingly. The only way out is if I can out-bargain her. We're standing here with nothing but the clothes on our backs and the worms in our heads.
We can beat her if we put our worms together.
We can. I'm sure of it. How glad I am that you see me as more than my patron's pet.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Hello, my dear.
Tell me about yourself.
What's to tell? I was sired by a vampire named Cazador. Everything before that is so long ago it's ancient history. And everything that came after, well, I'd rather not reflect on it.
You must remember your life before that.
I was a magistrate, working to keep the peace in Baldur's Gate, imprisoning troublemakers, that kind of thing. I can't remember much, truth be told. Centuries of torment will do that to you.
How were you turned?
I was attacked. A gang of vagrants, a tribe of wandering Gur, took issue with a ruling I'd made. They beat me to death's door when Cazador appeared. He chased them off and offered to save me, to give me eternal life. Given that my choices were eternal life or bleed to death on the street, I took him up on the offer. It was only afterwards I realized just how long eternity could be.
Tell me about your history.
Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again.
How does someone become a vampire exactly?
It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free. And a true vampire.
In theory.
People think the biggest threat to a vampire is a cleric with a stake. It's not. The biggest threat to a vampire is another vampire. They're scheming, paranoid, power-hungry beasts. So why would any vampire give up control over a spawn to create a competitor? Trust me, it doesn't happen.
I thought vampires couldn't walk into homes without an invitation.
We can't. And yet I cross the threshold like moonlight through leaves. This worm is a powerful little beast, isn't it?
Yes, that worries me.
Oh, don't be so glum. Look at the power it's bringing us. I can walk in sunlight, trespass upon any home, manipulate minds. There isn't another vampire in the realms like me. Granted, the looming doom is an issue, but why not enjoy the benefits while we can?
So, about you biting me.
I've already apologized. What more do you want? Unless you're looking for another nibble.
Maybe later.
Maybe. But there won't be any more midnight surprises. I can promise you that.
So, there's a monster hunter after you?
Not anymore. Which is all that matters, really.
Well, why was he hunting you? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I was kidnapped, just like you. It seems Cazador wants me back.
And who is Cazador exactly?
Cazador Zar is a vampire lord in Baldur's Gate. The patriarch of his coven, and a monster obsessed with power. He turned me nearly 200 years ago. I became his spawn. And he became my tormentor.
You're sure Cazador's behind this?
It was him, I'm sure. Only he would know to send the Gur after me. It was a group of Gur that attacked me that night in Baldur's Gate. I would have died had Cazador not appeared and saved me.
So why send one after you now? To remind you of that night?
Perhaps. He probably thought it was funny. But more likely, he's trying to send me a message. He's reminding me of his power. Even in the middle of nowhere, he can reach me. And he wants me back.
Don't worry, you're safe with me.
Safe? You think I'm safe? Do you know the power a vampire lord possesses? He can change shape, turn into mist, call wolves to do his bidding, shrug off blows like they're nothing. He could walk into our camp tonight and kill you with his bare hands. And you'd be lucky if death was the worst thing that happened to you.
Can he do that? Just walk into our camp?
Probably not. He has to rest in his crypt during the day. I've never known him to leave Baldur's Gate. But he has no end of lackeys. He'll send someone else in his place. We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight.
What do you make of Raphael's deal?
I won't lie. It's tempting. If I keep the tadpole, I risk transforming into a grotesque monster. If I lose the tadpole, Cazador has control of me, body and soul, and I return to the shadows. It's grim either way. So why not sell what's left of my soul to a devil? Better he has it than Cazador.
We have options. Other options. Better options.
Figuring out what's happening to us, confronting a god called the Absolute, and then finding time to kill my old master before he can control me once more? Yes, that's an option, but I wouldn't bet eternity on it.
The air is heavy. Moisture drips down your forehead. Pain shoots through your fingers. Your finger traces the arc of your lips. Wetness, sweat, blood, and saliva mixed into one viscous liquid.
Chukil Gape Vlakith Mazathok! Can you feel it crawling through you? Tendrils squirming in your chest, gripping your heart, piercing your belly. Your bones popping, your flesh swelling. I can. I see it in you. I feel it in me. We are lost. I will be quick with my blade. First you, then the others, then myself.
Your minds intertwine. You sense a touch of uncertainty, a touch of disgust. Something stirs deep within you, hungry and alert. It's taking something you'll never get back. Lae'zel's fear grips you. Not fear of death, but fear of insignificance. The great warrior Lae'zel, a failure to her kind. She will wield no silver sword, ride no red dragon. Forever unknown to the great Lich Queen Vlakith.
Be strong. You will survive this. You will please your queen.
I will not let the Geich take me. I will earn Vlakith's honor. I will wait. But know this, I am watching. If the sickness does not pass come dawn, I will end us all. I came just in time. You are transforming.
I know your voice. I've heard it before.
Yes, you have. I saved you before. And I'm here to save you again. Don't worry. You will not become a Mind Flayer. Not while I'm around. I'll protect you. We haven't much time, so listen closely. There is great potential within you. It comes from that parasite. Your instinct is to resist the power it gives, but you must accept it, nurture it. I will keep it from consuming you, but for the sake of both of us, you must learn to wield it. A fight for the fate of Faerun. A fight we are losing. For now. You can change that, but only if you embrace your potential. I have to go. The enemy is closing in. I will be back. You'll feel better. I I promise.
Well, that was interesting. This story's starting to become very mysterious.